It's been a year since last year's ice storm, and we wanted to talk with Mark Bays, our urban forester, a little bit about the recovery efforts that have been happening since last October. So, Mark,
yeah,
it's been quite a year, right, for trees?
It's been crazy to think where we were just a year ago. I mean, I was without electricity for 13 days in a row, and it's just amazing. You know, and as we look back to see how not only the ice storm, but also the cold weather, that's the real pandemic, I think, that's been happening this year.
Yeah, so let's kind of recap. So this time last year,
Yeah.
year to the date almost, I mean, look at what the trees look like with
Right.
all of these leaves on it,
Yeah.
and covered with ice.
Totally covered
So
with
let's
ice.
talk a little bit about the devastation that we saw right after that.
Right, so this tree that we're standing right next to here, it's about an 8-inch caliper tree. And we've been trying to figure out just how much we've lost as a result of the ice storm. So when I talk with some of the cities that are in the central Oklahoma City area, based on the amount of tonnage of debris that was hauled away, we lost about 3 million of these trees that
Wow.
we're standing next to. Now, if you think about that, I mean, that's not really the case. That was just the debris that was taken away.
Right.
But think about the other debris that we still have in our natural areas, in people's yards that they haven't even dealt with yet. So that could be as high as 7, even 10 million trees that we may have lost.
Now, and that's just in the Oklahoma City area based off of the numbers that were reported. So,
That's only on
yeah.
the numbers that are reported, so it's much higher than that.
And then again, that's also based off of just the limbs and stuff equivalent to
Equivalent to that
3
size
million
of trees.
of these trees.
I know
Wow,
that.
that's incredible.
And if you think about the benefits that we lost from that, you think about the soil protection, you think about the air quality. There's lots of human health benefits that we get from these trees. You know, if you're just interested to learn more about how trees improve your everyday lives, you can go to this really wonderful website. It's called healthytreeshealthylives.org.
Okay, so we definitely know trees are important, and it wasn't just the ice storm that was so detrimental. Then we were followed up in February by this crazy deep freeze that we've
Yeah.
never had here in Oklahoma before.
Yeah, we lost so much of our thin bark trees during that time.
Yeah.
And we're actually still seeing some of that damage. We've seen a lot of oak trees throughout the summer months come out fully leafed and lose all their leaves. We're seeing a lot of problems with different pine trees because they came fully leafed out. And the only common denominator is those that didn't get the ice damage, they've got the freeze damage that we're just now beginning to see.
Okay.
Lots of trees, like some of the smaller trees, for instance, Vitex and the crepe myrtles, we're really seeing a lot of those that also got damaged with that.
Yeah, so obviously things are affected by their own sort of resistance, you know, how mature they were, if they were already in decline going into all of this sort of maybe took some of them out.
Right.
Last year when we talked, you said just kind of take care of any of the widow makers, you know, the ones that were hanging. Yeah. Let's talk about, you know, what we need to be aware of with our trees right now. If we still have trees, I think the leaves are kind of hiding some of that damage, right? Am I correct on this?
That's what's going to happen. The leaves came out last spring, everybody went on their way, they all got happy, we forgot about how much damage is still up in the trees. So once the leaves drop, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of branches that are still dead in there. Those, they're hanging, we still need to address those, and those should be removed as well. That's the first thing is, you know, we still saw trees, branches die. So anything that's dead, go ahead and remove that. Remove those hangers, try and cut them back to the next union. You've done a lot of shows on proper pruning and everything like that. If it's too much for you, use a professional with that. The other thing that you'll probably be seeing is, if you were fortunate to keep a lot of your trees there, is you'll begin to see those sprouts, water suckers, and those are those little branches that start shooting up in time, and that tree, what it's trying to do is replace all the branches that were lost. So don't take all those off at one time. There are a number of them that are growing straight up. Okay. And those straight up ones, they have a much stronger union to that branch. And so those are the ones that we're trying to protect and save. Eventually they may need to be removed, but right now those are the ones that we're trying to save. So there are some things that we need to be doing now and in the next few years to help those trees still recover from this ice storm.
And I always kind of equivalent, like, you know, the tree's trying to put up new solar panels, right? And it's been devastated, so it wants to get them up there quickly.
Yeah.
That's why it tends to be weak, and you see a lot of water sprouts. Is that But you can train those to be stronger if it's got a good union.
Yes.
But what about that? We often see a lot of them come out at one junction together. So maybe those aren't the ones we would want to keep?
Let's just say you have the very tip of your branches, or your tree was pruned back to, in between a natural place. You could possibly start seeing a hairball of these sprouts coming out. It's still possible to find the stronger attachment on those and still thin those out as well. So whether they're growing straight up or out at the very tip of it, there is a process. It's going to be a yearly process, and it's not this year, it's not next year, it's not the year after that. It's a continual process to make the selection on those, to choose the strongest ones that are attached, to eventually you may only have 2 or 3 that are going out on that very end.
And by slowly thinning off some of those water sprouts, you're going to encourage more of that energy into one or a couple to make those stronger? Is that kind of the thought process?
So why you're seeing so many of those sprouts coming out right now is the tree has been damaged in other places, and so it realizes it wants to replace its food source, which comes through photosynthesis in the leaves. So that's why it's frantically replacing everything. So if you remove all those water sprouts, you'll take away all that food production. That's why it's important to be a slow process, because you're trying to allow that tree to replace the food that was lost. You just can't continually, take all those suckers off, because you're continuing to take.
You're doing the same damage the ice storm did, right?
There you go. That's right.
Good. Okay.
So if anybody needs to have any information at all on what they need to do to help their trees survive from this ice storm, they can always go to our website, forestry.ok.gov.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.